Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I had like 2 other videos lined up, but we're currently dealing with a significant breakout, and I haven't done like a blemish cover-up routine in a while. So today we're going to go over how to cover a blemish and keep it from looking like a giant massive red spot on your face. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching. We will be talking a little bit of skincare as well as makeup to cover it up. So all of that is going to be jumped into today's video. Make sure you're subscribed because I upload every other day. That'll be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I am posting. And if you're looking to cover up a blemish, just like this massive one that I am dealing with right now, stay tuned. Alright, first things first, I'm going to take the Fresh Kombucha Cleansing Treatment on a Q-tip, and I'm just going to cleanse the area, make sure there's no residual oils there. Plus, it's showing you on camera that this is not a pretend breakout that I put on with makeup, nor is it already covered. So we're going to just make sure that this is cleaned off so that we can also pick up any residual oil that might be there so that we don't have anything messing with the makeup. So I did already cleanse and tone. At this point, I would go in with my SOS spray from Tower 28 because this is antibacterial and antimicrobial. So taking this on the face will kill any bacteria that's on the surface, which might cause a breakout to spread anywhere else, but also it's going to help to kill whatever's in this one. Then I'm going to take any sort of like salicylic tea tree treatment. This one is from Herb. It is the Tea Tree Pure Biotic for Acne Skin Solution. I've also used one from Murad in the past that I really liked. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my finger, and I like to just put it on there almost like a mask for like a minute. And then in a minute, I will rub it in. But I just pat a thin layer on that, and whatever's left on my finger, I just kind of put on the nose because that is an area where I do have a lot of pores and do tend to get most of my breakouts in this area. So because of the oil congestion, that's a problem. So this kind of helps to neutralize some of that. All right, once that's been on for a minute, I do rub it into the surrounding area and, just make sure that it is absorbed into the skin so that it's not sitting on top. And at this point, I would go in with my moisturizer. I am using the Fresh Deep Hydration Cream today. They sent this over because it's a reformulation. And I have used this in the past, the old one, and I do really like it. They also sent with it their Rose Deep Hydration Infused Oil Serum. I used that twice, and I felt super greasy with it. So if your skin is a little drier, you'll probably like that a lot more than I did, because I'm a little more on the oily side, so that did not work out for me. But the moisturizer is a beautiful day cream. It just leaves everything feeling nice and hydrated. It's not too heavy on the skin, so if you are on the oily side or the acne-prone side, it's not going to give you any issues. Plus, Rose is an anti-inflammatory within the formula, so it will help with puffiness and irritation and redness throughout the day. Last skincare step before we go in with the makeup is our SPF. This is the Oil and Pore Control Mattifier SPF from Murad. It is very lightweight, and it is one of my favorite SPFs because it is a chemical sunscreen. It is a physical sunscreen. I am sensitive to chemical sunscreens, so I don't use them, but this is a really nice physical sunscreen. Do not neglect the top of your ears or the neck. And now that we've cleansed the skin, we've protected the skin, we've hydrated the skin, we've done as much as possible to make sure that we're not going to get any other irritations or breakouts. Now we can jump into the makeup. So I am not going in with a full face of makeup today because that defeats the purpose of a blemish cover-up. You can always put on full coverage if that's something you're into, but the focus of today's tutorial is really going to be more for people who don't typically wear a lot of makeup but still want to cover something up. So I'm going to start by going in with my concealer. This is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer Pen. With a cream concealer, it's a lot easier to get targeted coverage where you want it. If you used a liquid concealer and you blended it out, typically it goes on a larger area, so it's a little more obvious that you've used concealer. So instead, I'm going to take a concealer pen, and I'm going to apply that pretty generously on top of the area I want to cover. Since I do have a little bit of redness right here from a popped capillary, I am going to put a little bit there as well. And while we're at it, Let's go right there for good measure, because that is a recovering blemish. Now, because our fingers do have oils in them, I do prefer to blend out with a brush. This is the Morphe M173. It's a little like finger brush, and I like to pat over the area I'm looking to cover. And then once I feel like I have it where I want it, I will kind of pull around the edges so that it doesn't look like there's a lot of concealer there. I will do the same thing on the nose, pat, pat, pat where I want the coverage, and then just kind of blend down and up on the sides so that it doesn't look like we just put a lot of concealer on the face. And then for this one, same thing. Pat where you want coverage, and then pull where you want to soften it. So that way it's going to blend in and not look like we put a massive amount of concealer on the cheek. Now, something to remember is that makeup that's pigment or color is going to cover up color. It's not going to cover up texture. So if you have like a big bump that you try and put makeup on, the bump is still going to be visible. It's just the color that's going to be downplayed, so it'll be a little bit less obvious that there's something on the face. Next, I'm going to go in with a setting powder. I will also be using the Jouer Soft Focus and Hydrate Set Powder, because this is like no coverage at all. This is just a tinted translucent powder. Now, if you want more coverage, I do like the One Size Turn Up the Base Versatile Powder Foundation, but this is a foundation powder. It is a lot more coverage, so it's going to look a little more makeup-y. This is going to be a lot more lightweight. I'm using the shade Light, and I'm just going to load that up on, this is a Smashbox all-over eyeshadow brush, and I am just going to set down where I put that concealer. This powder has hyaluronic acid in it, which is a very hydrating ingredient. So this is designed to set and blur the skin, which is going to help it be a little less obvious that there's a breakout there or that there's concealer there at all. But it's also going to hydrate it throughout the day, because when you think about a breakout, a lot of times your skin is dehydrated, so it creates oil. Your skin might not be properly exfoliated, so the oil gets trapped under dead skin, and that creates a breakout. So by adding hydration, we will actually help our skin to produce less oil, which in turn will help fight those breakouts. A lot of people who are greasy, oily, or acne prone think their skin is oily, so they skip moisturizer, when in reality, a lot of times, that makes your skin break out more. So not what you want to do. And once that's been on for a little bit, I do like to just take the brush and pat around the area just to diffuse that powder a little bit, so that it doesn't, again, look like a layer of powder sitting on top of the skin. And then lastly, I like to take a setting spray. This is the Finishing Spray Oil-Free Mist from Skindinavia, one of my favorite setting sprays of all time. I do set down the entire face with that, and then I take my sponge. This is actually a dry sponge. I haven't wet it because I actually don't want it to be wet. I want to just use this to press the setting spray into the powder. Because it's still a little bit on the dry side, it will soak up any extra spray. When I do this when I have makeup on and I'm doing a full face of makeup, I like my sponge to be wet. But for this technique, I do prefer a dry sponge just because it presses everything in a little bit better. And that is it. We have covered it up. We are looking much better. I didn't have to color correct. I didn't have to put on 9 layers of product. If you wanted to do a full foundation routine, you can totally do that. I would just do this on top of your foundation and then put everything else on, completely up to you. But that is all I needed to do today. So thank you so much for watching. If you are breakout prone or you're looking to cover up a blemish, I hope this helped. Let me know your tips and tricks down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.